All right, number 14, we're going to use Simpson's rule with n equals 4 to approximate this definite integral from 3 to 5 of 1 over quantity 3x squared plus 1 squared dx. And you will notice that if you were trying to use this as u, du would be 2x. And notice there's no other x value in there. So it wouldn't cancel, and it would make it very tough to find. So we are going to approximate this with Simpson's rule. And remember, Simpson's rule is going to be b minus a over 3n times, all right, the first y value, and then it's going to be 4 times the second y value, and then it's going to switch to 2 times the next y value, and then it'll go back to 4, and that'll keep alternating, 4, 2, 4, 2, until you get to the very end, and you have to end with a 4. And then the very last one is just going to be 1 of the last x value. Okay? So the first thing I like to do is find delta x. This is going to help me find my x value that I plug in to find all my y values. So here you're actually going to get 5 minus 3 over 4. So that's b minus a over n. Okay? And this ends up being 2 over 4, or 1/2. And so even if you don't want to graph it, you can at least do a number line. So we're going to start at 3, we're going to end at 5, we're going to do 4 subintervals, which means we have 5 x values and 5 y values, and they're going to be half apart. So this one is going to be 3.5, and this one will be 4, and 4.5, and then we end at 5. So all things looks good there. All right, and these are kind of long, so I'm just going to start over on the left-hand side. So let's apply Simpson's rule, b minus a over 3n. So that's going to be 5 minus 3 over 3 times 4. And it's just going to be one of the first y values. So that's going to be f at 3. So that's going to be 3 times 3 squared plus 1 squared. And then we want 4 of the next one. So that's just going to make the numerator 4 there. And it's going to be 3 times 3.5 squared plus 1 squared. And then it'll alternate to 2. So it'll be 3 times 4 squared plus 1 squared. It'll alternate back to 4. And this one's going to be 3 times 4.5 squared plus 1 squared. And then we're going to be back to 1. And that's going to be 3 times 5 squared plus 1 and squared. And now you just kind of have to wrestle with your calculator on this. You know, sometimes it is helpful. You could simplify the first one, that's 2 over 12, so that's really 1 over 6. And in this case, it might be helpful to find those denominators. Find those denominators first there. So we would have 3 times 3 squared, so that's 3 times 9, plus 1, and then squared, so that's 1 over 784. The next one would be 3 times 3.5 squared. So it's 1425.0625. The next one would be 3 times 4 squared plus 1, so that's 2401. The next one, we would want 4.5 squared, so that's 3813.0625. And the last one is just with 5 squared in there. So that's 1 over 5776. So that might make it a little bit easier to calculate. Just be very careful when you type this in. You're getting the coefficient right. Okay, and when you do this, you're going to round to 3 decimal places. So in this case, it's going to be 0.001.